What up, FIFA Tiers, and welcome to another episode of the FUT Tiers podcast. And obviously, it wouldn't be an episode of the podcast without my collabs, Luke and Mers. How you doing, guys?
Doing good, thank you.
Doing fairly well.
And yeah, we're going to start off this week with talking about obviously the ongoing promo that is Team of the Year, but more importantly, as we did cover Team of the Year a little bit last week, the honourable mentions. Now, there's been a few. I personally, if you've seen my monumental pack opening where I opened over 2 days over 160 packs and didn't get a Team of the Year, I did pack myself a Mendy, but it does seem like after watching a few videos on YouTube that a lot of the packs were Mendy packs. You guys, what do you think of the honourable mention players? Shall we go through them first?
Yeah, let's go through them individually.
So, Team of the Year honourable mentions are Mohamed Salah, Bruno Fernandes, Erling Haaland, Karim Benzema, Anthony Rudiger, Leon Goretzka, Lautaro Martinez, who's an SBC, I think.
Yep, correct.
Edouard Mendy, Insigne, Alaba, Phil Foden, Chiesa, Koundé, Luke Shaw, who is the objectives, Bonucci, David and Walker. Now, of them, I've seen probably, I would say Bonucci, Mendy and Insigne has been the most common packed ones. What about you guys?
Well, I've packed Bonucci and Insigne, so
there you go.
I've packed David on 2 accounts.
Oh, okay.
I think he's the most common in my opinion. If you have to, like, outside of Edouard Mendy, who I did get on one of my accounts.
Yeah.
Let me have a look. Just see on this account what I've got.
I also got.
I believe
Mendy.
I have a David Alaba in here. So.
Oh, okay. So you had a few different ones.
Looks. I've had a few variances here and there.
So I packed 3, and I got Mendy twice and Benzema once. Benzema obviously nice in terms of rating, but in terms of money, like not worth a lot. But then, as we sort of like mentioned a little bit, Mers, didn't you? Like generally, cards of that nature at the moment are just cheap.
Yeah, especially like the Team of the Year players. Obviously Mbappe, CR7 are in a class of their own. Like. They in terms of price, but you look at the defenders. Last year, I think the cheapest defender was Trent. He was about 1.1 mil.
Yeah.
Cheapest defender this year is Cancelo at 700k, but you got 3 out of the 4 defenders under a mil this year. Like, it's crazy. It shows just sort of a little bit how messed up the market is this year.
Because it's although it's like recovered in some circumstances for like the SBCs for like fodder and things, especially when it comes to icons and that, it's still not recovered in terms of like those players that you would buy that are usable, that are good promo players. Like or like at the start of the year when we said about like what players were meta, like Joe Gomez and things like that. You know, we were saying about how. Like that same time last year when a player was, I think he was like, when we looked maybe about 9k, he was like 50k or something in the previous year, and still like that has kind of been the thing, isn't it? With the exception of like the 2 highest maybe promo card players being in the sort of million bracket or $1.5 million bracket, everybody else has been relatively like affordable. I mean, I suppose the only thing is without there being sort of coins to sell players for because they're so cheap, then it means coin balances aren't as high as people would maybe have, but still you can buy most players, I think, this year.
Yeah, I think it all boils down to that minimum rating guaranteed that you have in pretty much nearly every single pack. I think that's
it's definitely played a part this year, hasn't it?
Yeah,
100%.
Because I think looking at the odds as well for like packing the Team of the Year, I don't remember ever seeing the pack odds on an Ultimate Pack ever being higher than 1% in previous years for packing the Team of the Year. But this year, you've seen it actually go, I think at one point it even went as high as 1.3% chance of packing.
It's currently at 1.9.
Oh my God,
you're
it's
thinking
gone
100k
even further
pack.
up.
You're thinking 100k pack. The 1.3, 1.4 was 100k.
Currently say they're 1.9.
Yeah, I don't even recall it even being that high of a percentage. I think it always was like under 1%. I think it's mainly because Donnarumma being like 220 odd K, whereas in like last year Neuer was about 400k, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was about 400,000 coins. Yeah, I remember when I got him in the episode with Luke. I'm pretty sure he was still 400k at the time.
Yeah, so it sort of shows the goalkeeper being half the price.
But I mean, some of these cards look insane, don't they? I mean, we were talking. I was saying to you guys about in the episode of Pack to the Future that we just did, guys. You should go and check that out if you haven't seen it already on YouTube. We did the new 81 double upgrades that come out on Monday, and I said like the one player that I would actually quite like to pack, not just because it'll be a strong link to my Mendy, but also he looks insane, is Rudiger. And actually, like, people have talked obviously about this the Varane SBC and how, you know, he's an end game card for that price, but surely, like, you look at this and surely Rudiger looks like an end game centre back as well, right?
Yeah, I agree. If you look at individual in-game stats as well, you see a lot of them. I've got the card up now: 97 jumping, 96 strength, 97 acceleration. Love that. Aggression on a 6'3" person. He's gonna dominate aerial threats.
Yeah.
Until the cows come home.
When I say he
avoid
has
saying etc.
99 defending with a shadow card and
95 pace.
Yeah, that's insane,
like,
right? So
95
going to see
pace,
that
maxed
on
out defending, insanely good physical stats.
Like, you probably won't see that on many like team of the season cards this year when they come out.
No, wow. Unless obviously they're the top tier like centre backs, but yeah, because obviously there's sometimes those 88 rated like centre backs and stuff. Sometimes.
Well, yeah, but unless you get like a Gvardiol, like gets a team of the season this year, like he isn't going to have that sort of pace.
Oh yeah.
Like generally, like
pace he will have, but he won't have.
No, Gvardiol will, but I mean, what other ones won't? Say like a Serbi got a team of the season, they're not going to suddenly give him 90 pace, you know.
I mean, let's look at
stranger things that have happened.
Look at Jose Font last year, for example, not etc.
Yeah.
You've got that situation where he ended up going from 40 pace to about 76. Like they're willing to. It's obviously not 90, but 76 pace is still very respectable this FIFA. I've been an advocate for this a long time. I still don't believe pace is that insane. It's still it's something that you're not going to scoff at, and you want quicker players if you have them. But anything that's for a centre back specifically that's around the 75 to 80 region, you can get away with, in my opinion. So looking at Christensen,
as long as you're good at defending, really, is the thing, isn't it? That's the more key thing.
Exactly. So you got a lot of options this year. Obviously, the SAR card that came out recently is still a very good card. Like, it doesn't obviously compare to that Rudiger too well.
No, but it's a nice strong link for free.
Exactly. So you got squad building options, and that's what you always sort of want.
To be fair, I'm just looking at that Rudiger card, and it says he's got a plus 22 on his acceleration versus his base card.
Very interesting.
Yeah, he's got plus 25 on his balance, plus 21 on his agility. So it looks like this year EA are on promo cards, because we've already seen it a fair few times already with promos this year. They certainly seem to like jacking up certain like in-game stats for
Well, I mean, you look at Jorginho, like he was the one, weren't he? But then arguably the thing about him was people saying like, well, he deserved his team of the year, so it's EA's way of making someone who's got a deserved team of the year being usable, rather than it be, oh yeah, he deserves his team of the year, but by the way, you're still not going to be able to use him in the game, kind of thing.
Not like a Tony Kroos every single time. But what you also notice of Jorginho, bringing up him topically, is they also gave him 4-star compared to his natural 3-star 3-star. So actually, the fact they're now changing stuff like that with team of the years now as well is something you don't. I don't recall ever seeing a team of the year have a skill moves or a weak foot boost. So
and that kind of makes like it think like, oh well, actually, although team of the season does kind of bring towards almost the end of the game, there could be some really lovely cards to see at the end if they bring some 5-stars into some that had 4 stars and things. You could end up like, it could just be a nice part of FIFA right at the end that you've got some overpowered cards.
Just think that could have been Luis Diaz if he didn't go to Liverpool in the case. I mean, same if he'd just stayed at Porto is what I'm implying. Even if he'd gone to Tottenham as well, he still wouldn't have got it. But
any of these honourable mentions here that sort of you wanna pack if you're not going to get a team of the year to be used in your team?
Oh, I think there's a fair few
Many.
because these look quite good. Like Chiesa, for instance.
Chiesa looks nice as well.
Goretzka, obviously Rudiger as well. I'd happily accept. I mean, I might even be tempted to even use Koyunde, even though he's under 6 foot tall. Stack Merchant Mers prepared to use something that goes against his.
Mers willing to yield.
Willing to compromise.
Foden
the
as
question,
well.
Mers. Would you yield for Alaba?
Would I yield for Alaba? He
Also
doesn't
5'11".
look quite as good, like because.
Oh, but Mers, he's got 17 more passing than Koundé.
Yeah, but
the thing I don't like about Alaba is the medium. So.
That can be a little bit of an issue sometimes.
I like a
he's
high
only got one yellow
rate.
stat on the card though.
Yeah,
that's finishing.
That's pretty good, isn't it, for a centre back?
Green all round. Only one stat, as I say, is not a green, and that's finishing. So that could easily just be converted into a DM. I know a lot of people like to play DMs at centre back instead, so that could be a straight swap. I mean,
they've also
for example,
made
this
Haaland
Dennis
more
Zakaria.
usable as well. They've jacked up his agility and balance. He's gone up by plus 16 balance and plus 15 agility. So yeah, you are definitely trying to do stuff with promo players.
That was kind of nice to see on Haaland's front though, because like at the start, everyone like seeing his card thought, cool, he's got that big upgrade this year, he's going to be really good, and then he just turned into fodder instantly. So actually, because as soon as people realised that like he wasn't not the meta, because there wasn't necessarily, like you say, a meta for pace or anything at the start of the game, but it was just more the body type made him not as desirable as other players. It just meant that he didn't get used as much, and found himself to be 27k within like a few weeks of the game coming out.
I mean, here's a sign of the times actually. If you look at honourable mentions, Kyle Walker, when in any FIFA ever at January is a Kyle Walker special card worth less than 100k.
Yeah, I saw.
I know it's not a centre back, but
I didn't have any clue about his price, and then I saw Pi pack him, and because I saw how much he didn't get gassed about packing him, I thought, oh, well, this is weird, because I would have thought this card is like 300k, and yeah, I was very shocked. Not gonna lie.
Also, thoughts on? Obviously, I know Liverpool fans listening will be absolutely furious that Trent has been snubbed in not just the main team of the year, but the honourable mentions as well. So, thoughts on Trent missing out?
That is
deserved,
a bit of a
or
joke, to be fair. That is a little bit of
I wonder whether there's an SBC still on the horizon, but who knows?
Doubt it. I highly doubt
Probably
it.
not at this point now, because we're only 3 days left of the promo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably see. There's probably a point of fact it might. I don't even know if we've got a countdown, but it might even end Wednesday, and they get ready for the new promo.
No, it ends on Friday, I think. Cause
it does end on Friday, does it?
3 days, 21 hours
rewards.
is what I've got showing up now.
It does say that, does it? Right. Okay. So it looks like they are going to maybe go straight into the next promo.
I think it's because people wanted the end of season rewards and team of the year, just for that little extra opportunity to try and get a team of the year player. Because I thought it was going to end before the end of season rewards, but then it's a bit weird as well, the fact that they've had this going on for more than a week with the full team in. Because I swear to God, they always ended it on Sunday.
I think it was...
Oh, they do. You're absolutely right on that front. But there's this certain dairy product that they're trying to get a lot of this year, and that's milk. So they're trying to milk the
we did call it early on, didn't we, when we said about how many promos there was going to be, and we've not been wrong so far. So
it's the fact they're extending their biggest money maker.
Yeah,
is just that little bit more, just to drive that wedge in that tiny bit more.
Has the lightning rounds ended though?
Yes, they only open over the weekend, don't they?
Yeah.
So they didn't at least do. They didn't do that, but I mean they have still stuck ultimate packs in.
Yeah.
Talking as I did try to help segue it several times to Mers about the new promo.
Oh yeah, there is a new promo, of course. Yes, new promo going to be. I was about to say silver stars for a second there. I mean,
there probably
that,
will be
that
one.
could
You
be
hate
an
that.
interesting promo to have. But I suppose in some ways, Future Stars is kind of a bit like a Silver Stars promo, because obviously a lot of these cards tend to be silver players, or even a couple of bronze players upgraded to gold cards, special cards. So yeah, obviously I'm not going to go into details because leakers have spoilt like who is going to be in it, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to talk about the Winter Wildcards-esque swaps that they're doing again. So that's good. So 25 tokens that you can redeem. So the stuff that you can redeem it for, where it is, here it is. So you've got, for 2 tokens, you can get a rare players pack. Now, I apparently have heard that that's a double rare players pack. So
double?
you get 2 for the price of 1. But it doesn't say it there, though. It only says 1 on the screenshot that I've got here. Then for 3 tokens, we've got the 81 to 89 times 10 player pack again. Then for 5, we've also got the Ultimate Pack. But this time out, unfortunately, there is not going to be a kit review from Luke this time.
Sadly not.
Because
That's
they
sad.
haven't got the Future Stars kit or anything like that for 5 tokens.
Terrible behaviour.
Then for 8 tokens, they've got the first of Frimpong's card. So for an 86 rated version of him. For 12, you get a Future Stars Team 1 pack. So obviously, I'm guessing there's going to be 2 teams for Future Stars because there normally is. But this is just apparently for just Team 1. Then for 12 tokens, there is the second version of Frimpong, which is the 88 version. Both are right back cards. So obviously, if you don't want to necessarily go for the packs and you want a Dutch right back or you want a Bundesliga right back, then obviously that would be a good card to go for. Because to be fair, at the moment, the only options in Bundesliga right back wise are Mukulele's Road to Knockout and Mbabu's Fire and Ice card. So not great amount of options, but that will add to that. Then for 15 tokens, we have the return of the 85 plus times 10 player pack. So got a good chance, hopefully, of getting a pro player in that if you redeem the 15 tokens. Then for 20, and this card looks quite good, Gallagher. He's had an amazing season, so definitely deserves to have a Future Stars card. I kind of wish that he'd be in the main team, to be fair, but he's a token for 20 tokens though. So obviously you could do that, the 89, 81 to 89 and rare player. And then for 25 tokens, we have a Future Stars Team 1 pick, which is going to be a choice of 1 of 3 players. So, you know, if you really want to, if you like a particular person in that Team 1 and you really want to go for that 25 tokens player pick, then obviously good opportunity to try and get something that's really good. But at the same time, with previous promos and looking at some of the cards and how the price difference between like the low end and the high end, like you might end up getting 50k players in it or something. So what do you guys make of the swap rewards?
I mean, I like the idea of that Gallagher thing, because I think it kind of encourages you thinking that like if you really really want him, then you'll go to those tokens and get him. Like, I know it was different for me because I didn't think I was going to get enough for the player pack, which I probably would have gone for in the end. But obviously I did Daka, who is in my team, and like he's insane. I love using the card, but I think like it's just a nice. I think it's a nice touch to be able to do that, to get a player that you like because either you like have watched him this year and you've enjoyed him and you want to now see what like a nice juiced up version of his card in game is going to be like. But ultimately I do think, I mean, people just tend to choose packs, don't they? People love a pack. And the pick one will be interesting because you know there's inevitably going to be, based on what we've seen this year, some less affordable, less desirable future stars. And I get, you know, it's let's face it, you're not, is it going to be like the hero upgrade? Started off really well for everybody, then suddenly Genola didn't pop up anymore.
Yeah.
If people did enough of that and learnt from that, I don't think that'll get chosen much.
I mean, there is another thing to factor in with that player pick. If not looking at how EA have done a lot of the player picks and some of the mistakes they did, like with icon swaps, obviously
that's true.
Knows very well with that. They might end up making
beneficiary of that.
They might make a mistake with it, and you get two.
The only problem is though the likelihood of them messing it up is that you're just going to get the gold rares or the non-gold commons or whatever of the player, whereas on the icons at least you still got an icon.
I loved having 2 icons, especially when one of them was alright.
Yeah, you did luck out.
I did luck out with the Laurent Blanc, but my take on it is, do you know what's interesting? Two of the players from them are actually Bundesliga fullbacks. Did you look at last time? Did you look at last time with was it Günther? Christian Günther?
Yeah, Günther.
Yeah.
He got the one in winter wildcards. This time we have Frimpong.
Yeah.
So maybe there's not many good fullbacks in the Bundesliga generally. Is something I'll say, because you've got Schulz on one side, as I say, and then Davies, and you sort of clutching at straws, Iago, etc. But I'm tempted to do both versions of Frimpong and compare them, because that's what I do. I compare players or I review players. But after that, I'm still up in the air, because I'm tempted to do do multiple accounts basically. I'm trying to go as many of.
See, you're lost now. There's not a kit, aren't you?
I'm not lost. No. It just means I'm just going to do other fit. Not remotely lost.
I'm guessing when you say you're doing Frimpong, that's take one on one account and one on the other account.
Correct.
Two on one account. That'd be crazy.
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I haven't actually seen a leak for the team yet, which is rather refreshing.
Oh, wait. I've just read. Apparently there's 28 tokens, not 25. So
yes.
So you could get Gallagher and Frimpong if you're just interested in the players.
So that's
there's
okay.
so many options, which sadly I am considering doing this on all my accounts, which that is very painful, considering I know that means that I've got to get 84 separate tokens.
I mean, luckily it's not. You will have a couple of objectives, but luckily it's mainly linked to SBCs predominantly. So
at the moment, it's linked to it at the moment.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing that I don't. It's not that I don't like it, but I think it's a little bit sneaky. They're like, I feel like they hide tokens, and as much as you can hide a token, but like, there's one obviously in the Maldini loan, so a lot of people won't do the loan icons because they don't they're on RTGs and don't want to waste their, their players for it and stuff. I know that like some of the tokens are going to be in SBCs regardless anyway, but I just think that's a little bit sneaky. Like I hadn't seen the tokens yet, and I heard from a YouTuber that like you needed to do that loan SBC to get one of your tokens, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I would have noticed that if it hadn't been for the fact that I've seen this video. Like I don't see it advertised very well anywhere that you need to do this because this has a hidden token in it. And I think they did it with a few of the objectives, didn't they, in the wildcards? Like it was like, oh, you need to do this particular objective you need to do the team's objective.
For example, the Rooney. It was Rooney versus someone. Henri, I'm going to say. That you had to do.
Yes, yeah.
They had to do that teams. It was in each of the weekly objective players.
Yeah.
Silver Stars, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think
it was in everything.
I just think it's a little bit sneaky but then at the same time, the encouragement, I suppose, is to play the game, like in all the different ways there are SBCs and objectives and that. So I think I get it, but I just think, I don't know. It's just, it seems to have lost a little bit of transparency, where like you'd be annoyed if it weren't for the fact that there are going to be a few tokens surplus. You'd be annoyed if you missed that one that you needed because you didn't see you had to complete, the objective of score 5 finesses with an Argentinian team or something. Which they're never that difficult. I remember, I think to get the token, I think you could do it on squad battles, so it's not like it was
Sounds
a
about
difficult token to get, but it's just, yeah, not out and out saying this is where this token is. They could just be a little bit more open about it.
Open and transparent, but it's not going to ever be like that. Let's be honest.
Okay.
No.
EA would rather people
It's
not
a bit more
get
like a
the
treasure
stuff.
hunt.
Yeah.
Just to warn you,
reward those who
I've
pay
just
attention.
read that there will be one token available within squad battles. So, talk about hidden ones.
So that will
People
probably
might not
that
see.
probably will
that.
be like you've got to keep an eye out for like the featured team thing or something. Like you've got to beat the featured team that week. I don't know about you
it
guys.
might
When I
be
do my squad battles, I
just
don't play the
linked
featured
to
team.
the tier rewards, so you might just have to get like. It might even be the bronze tier as well, but I think I'm just guessing you just got to play some squad battles, and then when you get your weekly reward, it would just be in that rather than play the squad battle team or something like that. Because that would be in the objectives rather than on the squad battle screen, because it specifically says within squad battles rather than saying, because it does say squad builder
challenges. That makes me think that it will be play the featured team.
Yeah,
I reckon. Maybe they'll.
I think there's a strong chance of that.
Maybe they could. Maybe they could end up like getting one of the future stars to pick their team, and you've got to play their team or something.
Sorry. Oh God, they're doing it again.
What?
And be offered in a pack in the FUT store during the Future Stars campaign.
Yeah, and this is the one I didn't like because that pack was not cheap.
It's
that
just
was 90,000 coins.
People know that.
Or 300.
People know to expect that at this point.
Yeah, that was what we said when we last time they did it. Is like it was 90,000 coins, or it was FIFA points that wasn't an equal amount that you could just buy, so you had to buy more in order to get it. And there obviously a lot of people that don't want to, like I say again, RTGs, and I'm not talking about RTGs like YouTubers RTGs that do it for fun because they do it for a living. They play the game for a living. That's different. I'm talking about like a 15-year-old who has an RTG because he doesn't have a job or anything and can't afford to put money on the game, or if he has put money on the game, it's birthday money or something like that, having to spend 90,000 coins of his money on a pack just to get the token he needs for his. I just don't. Yeah, I don't like that. That don't need to be there. They could put that token somewhere else.
They could.
Yeah.
They could
Up
easily.
their arse. No. Yeah.
They want money. Start a gov petition. Campaign.
Yeah.
Get.
I don't have the legs like Danny Aaron does to try and campaign to get someone out of FIFA.
Yeah, sorry, I need to start stepping up the campaign on Andre Silva, to be honest. That's needed. But yeah, honestly, I think
I like Future Stars as a promo though.
Promos.
I like it as a promo.
One of the better ones that we all.
Because it's the one year that you don't get like the same players. Every time it's always different players. So
yes.
for that I love it. Like.
And I can't believe what I'm about to say, but I'm wanting an Arsenal player on.
I'm intrigued about what the stats will look like for a certain player within the promo.
I mean,
I don't want to say any names, but like the stats of the card on the normal card is like really atrocious. So
I mean, I've seen the leaks, so I don't know the stats, but I know who's getting one, and there are a couple I'm excited for.
But then, like we said, we've seen
specifically for past and presents, I need certain player upgraders.
We've seen skill move upgrades, weak foot upgrades, and also massive juice to stats on some of these cards. So why not do it for some of the future stars? There could be, there's going to be some. They aren't going to be atrocious future stars cards when they can make some more milk.
We do move on to the January transfer window. So, having a look at some of the major names that have moved. I don't know about you guys, if you've got any particular favourites. I know Mers doesn't. About players that have moved in sort of this sort of window. Anything you're excited for, Brad? Have Norwich brought in anyone?
I'm keen on seeing Kulusevski because obviously, again, a former future star, and I don't know. It's one of them things where like when you see a player that you don't really see, if you know what I mean. So that doesn't make sense. But what I mean is, when you see a player on FIFA that you don't really see play in real life, I want to see what he's like, and obviously I'm more likely to see him in the Premier League than Serie A. So it will be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The same as like. To be fair, I'm kind of keen on both yours. Have you got? Did you get Bentancur as well?
Correct.
Yeah. So like,
Rodrigo Bentancur.
I remember like Bentancur looking like a potentially really good card some years ago. A really good player. Sorry, I'm talking about him in FIFA terms now. And then he kind of
as well.
And then he kind of just like, I don't know, like went and just ended up being a bench player, I suppose. Didn't ever kind of, what I would say, reach full potential. So I want to see like
what. I
what.
don't know about that. I disagree with you here. I'm fairly sure he actually does play. He's played for, I think, about the last few seasons as Bentancur, played about 40 games season. I could be wrong. I remember hearing stats that he played a fair bit, and this season only I think he's third in appearances for a midfielder for Juve. I think he's played about 18 games for them.
Okay.
So he still plays for them.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I don't really see
he's a little bit behind the pecking order of Locatelli and Weston McKennie.
Yeah.
But I've seen he's, I think, the third most used midfielder for them.
Okay.
So he sees use. It's not like he's been sitting on the bench the whole time. He does.
No, it's
play.
not like you. It's not like you're signing a player who's like we don't even know whether he can kick a football.
Yeah, not even remotely.
Yeah.
But one team that's brought in a lot of people, is less deadline day and more just round of applause with transfer window, is Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Obviously with Coutinho, Lucas Digne.
Best signing of the window for sure.
It's definitely up there.
In terms of the impact he's going to make to their team.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at a couple of others, Eriksen's come in to Brentford today, which I'm very happy to see that. I'm sort of slightly annoyed that Spurs didn't actually offer him. We let him train, we helped sort of build up his fitness, but we didn't want to offer him anything, which I feel we should have at least offered something. If he didn't want to, fair enough, but I think it should have been
in seeing that a little bit, because like obviously he's now got an IED fitted, hasn't he?
Yes.
So
I believe so.
So
something along those lines.
So I think like I'm interested to see like or know just a little bit about how that works. Like, is his insurance basically now that doesn't include anything related to that condition? Because you got to think like he must be harder to insure. The insurance must be more expensive for a player with that condition playing football, because it just makes sense. But it must be like one of those things where like you can get insurance that doesn't include a particular condition because it's a known condition. And I wonder if that's where that deal lies, because it seems weird that it's someone like Brentford that has got him, if you know what I mean. Otherwise it seems like he should have gone somewhere like he wouldn't have played week in week out for Tottenham, but the fans and just the nostalgia of it, I don't know, it seems strange. It does seem strange.
It does a little bit, but talking of strange, it's something that in previous years would seem strange, but less so much now. Newcastle obviously leading the charge, bringing in one of my favourite players to use in midfield last year on FIFA, in the man who I always purposely pronounce the name wrong, which is Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah.
Or Guimaraes, I believe, is something along those lines, is how you actually say it, but I always call him Guimaraes just to be unique and different. But actually, the signing of Chris Wood's a very weird one, because originally this one I wouldn't say is weird at all, but actually has backfired on Newcastle, because they've done it to say, oh, we're going to take Burnley's most prolific striker, we're going to buy him, that's going to doom them to the drop, and then they've gone and bought Weghorst today, which considering this season Weghorst hasn't hit the ground running. He's on about 5 goals, I believe. But
last season he had a good season.
The last 3 seasons he's had good seasons. He's had between 15 and 20 goals the last 3 seasons, and he's been performing in a Europa League / he was in the Champions League, but they went out in 4th this year. But he's been a Europa League / Champions League level team in the last few years, and he's managed to get 15 to 20 goals, which you give Burnley that sort of thing on a 6'6" frame. That's Sean Dyche written all over it. So, and that's purely because they bought Chris Wood for 25 mil, did Newcastle, and they've gone and splashed, I think, I don't know a specific figure on Weghorst, but it's somewhere between 12 and 15 million.
It doesn't say.
It's not going to be a huge transfer sum. That's for sure. It's a bit.
That's a man who plays internationally as well. They play
exactly. He's got a proven international striker. Yeah,
it's a proven striker. As much as Chris Wood is Premier League proven, he's a great striker.
But he isn't Premier League proven in terms of like he doesn't score like 20 goals a season. Like
no, he doesn't score 20 goals a season, but he still puts in numbers.
But he still scores, yeah, and he scores for a team like Burnley. No offense to Burnley, but they're not a team that are going to score 3 or 4 goals each week. Like they are the 1-0 winners. If you ever could see a team that are going to do that.
I mean, last season he got 12 goals. Year before he got 14.
Yeah.
10. He's a consistent double-digit goal scorer for a side like Burnley, which is crucial. Considering they normally, I think at points ran 2 strikers as well. So Ashley Barnes would be in there at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To expect 20 goals a season, 15, 20 goals a season from that is pushing it a bit. But he's still done fairly well for himself in that sort of place. So it could help Newcastle, but it was meant to ruin Burnley, and I don't know if that's actually happened now.
No,
Burnley,
I
would have assumed were doomed, but now maybe not so much. But then actually to cover the Wolfsburg side of matters as well, this is going way off on a tangent. They signed Max Kruse from Union Berlin as well on a cut price deal. So they brought in reinforcements to cover that, even though he's more of an attacking midfielder, I understand. But he's a set-piece specialist. They're having a really bad season. Wolfsburg, I think, are 15th. So he's gone from relegation battle in the Bundesliga to relegation battle in the Prem, as Weghorst. So
one feels like it would be tougher.
Yeah, Wolfsburg would be better than in the Bundesliga than you'd expect Burnley to be able to get out of the situation.
I would say so.
It's possible they can get out of the situation. I'm not saying it isn't, but realistically, Wolfsburg are good enough to stay up. Yeah. There's 3 teams worse than Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga, surely. Same with Mönchengladbach, but Trippier's joined as well. That was a bit of a coup. That's actually 3 proper, actually, I'd say, good signings for Newcastle here. As of present time, they got Chris Wood's all right. I'm not classing him as the good signing yet. But
I think any year they hold on to St. Maximin is a good signing as well.
Yeah,
very true. Kieran Trippier though, they're going to keep hold of St. Max for a while. Let's be honest. They've got.
I think so now. I think now that they know, and he knows where that money is. That you know that they've got him for a while.
From here on out, what's classed as a good year for Newcastle is going to be changing year on year. So when I'm saying a good year, a good January, I should say, is bringing in Matty Targett on loan, which, considering he's been replaced at Villa and he's a very competent defensive left back, and Christ knows they need defensive reinforcements.
Targett was good last year, but he's been a bit questionable this year. Targett. I think because he got dropped quite a few times, Targett, from the Villa squad.
I'd have to look into that a bit more. I haven't checked the individual stuff, but I think it's a good pickup for Newcastle generally. Considering he's lost his place now to Digne in the team, it makes sense to take him on loan for the season.
Yeah, definitely.
It's an upgrade on who they got left back. Paul Dummett, Matt Ritchie. It's an upgrade, 100%. Yeah. Kieran Trippier obviously already fits in. Bruno Guimaraes fits in comfortably. Chris Wood, less so much. Obviously, Callum Wilson's injured, so that will help.
He's just a very different striker as well. Like
it's
not like the Andy Carroll days, anymore. Really, with St. Maximin kind of running and stealing the show to get into the box. It's not like they're going to swing many crosses in, but it does give him, like you say, it gives them another offensive option. But yeah, I think when Callum Wilson comes back, I don't know how much game time he'll get.
Obviously, one that people want me and Mers to touch on because they're Colombian. Luis Diaz the other day coming in. I am slightly sad. I was looking forward to my perfect link, but it has meant Mers isn't hitting rock bottom and using a Spurs player just because he's one of his favourites.
But I'm sad on another reason though, because now his team of the season card opportunity
is gone.
Basically gone now.
So, but his headliners might happen though.
Oh yeah, headliners could. That's fine. And switching to Prem would obviously be a bonus if he gets an inform or a special card, performance-based card, should I say, rather than promo card. for being at Liverpool. So yeah, that would be a bonus. But yeah, the team of the season though, because having maybe a 90 odd plus, Luis Diaz would have been nice in May.
It's going to be there or thereabouts with the boost. It'll be an 89, right? Or is it a +2, which would then be?
It's a +1.
It's a +1, so he'd probably hit. Well, he's 88 naturally, right? Or is he 87?
It's a bit of a weird one because obviously his next inform is going to be 80.
An 88. He's an 87 as standard.
What's his? Yeah, no, because his current headliner card. So his inform's 83. So his next one's 85.
Yeah, but what's going to actually happen with the headliners though? Because that's normally the next inform. So would it not somehow?
But they've done weird things with headliners this year. So who knows until they've actually given out a special obviously Kimmich has earned one, but we need to see one of these like really, really juiced up ones like Candrava.
Candrava's the one I want to see. Yeah, Candrava's the one I want to see. Whether they give him the exact same 85 card with 90 something pace, or whether that's just going to go back to about 76
because
to
we don't know what's going on because EA are running mad in some ways this year with how they're doing things. So yeah, it's because obviously, like I said, when headlines came out, this Luis Diaz headlines card is a +3 in terms of informs over what he's currently got. So it's like, okay, if he's a +3, are they going to suddenly go from an 83 inform to an 87 inform, or are they going to go in line with it to an 85? So then does that mean the headliners goes to 88 for the next inform, or what? Because it's just very weird.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing with me here is they've done crazy things like this, but that was way long ago on like FIFA 12. I referenced the Mignolet card in previous weeks. There was the Kevin Morales. Kevin Morales had like a second inform that was 85 rated that had like absurd stats. So that EA have known to just juice things up for why not? It'll make Team of the Weeks a lot more interesting if they suddenly do that.
We're talking mainly about the rating though, aren't we here? About like what is next Luis Diaz inform going to be? Like,
whilst that's true, I mean, if they suddenly decide they just juice the stats on Team of the Weeks, for example, so if we do what happened with Kevin Morales, funny enough, he'll have, let's say Diaz's next inform's actually 85, but they keep the same stats from the 87, as an example.
Yeah.
That would be a weird way of doing that, but it could be a way that then suddenly balances it and goes, oh no, Silver Stars though, they ain't actually 74 though, are they? Come on now. They're actually close to like 82 or something like that, and then they've lied about stats before.
Yeah, but as you said about like the Candrava, if they gave an 85 rated inform Candrava the headliner stats, right, and then suddenly you got this inform card that has basically been really juiced up from the previous like inform, then suddenly people are going to be like, hey, EA, why are you doing it just for this? Because of his headliners. You should be doing it for like everybody else. Because...
And then that would be put in the same sort of place as give me free FIFA points on the EA live chat. It would just palmed aside and go, right, everything's fine, fire burning around everyone.
Can I? So one interesting thing I'd like to talk about as well, the transfer window, is not just about them as a in a team sense, but also as a manager sense, and it also now touches on a tweet that's just come out. So Everton.
Literally my next one up here.
Literally have got, so they managed to get Lampard, yeah.
Yes.
Which I don't think that's a bad move at all. A lot of people are saying like, you know, could they have kept Duncan in? They probably could have done, and we know Everton fans like him, but at the end of the day, they want to show that they're looking for a manager. And although I don't necessarily think going for what is essentially an inexperienced manager is the best way to go, I don't think he's going to be received that badly. However, the new news is that they've just signed Donny van der Beek on loan. And Marcus Rashford has just tweeted out about it, saying, go on, brother, show them what you can do. So he's kind of like almost sticking one up at anybody at Man United who's not played him by saying like, go and show everybody how good you are at Everton. I think that's a great signing and a great manager appointment. Really, I don't like I say, he's a little bit inexperienced, but yeah, it's interesting times for Everton. This might be enough to get them, dare I say it, safe.
I mean, that would be the aim for them at the moment. I think as much as they should not want to just think of, can we stay up? This season, I think that's survival's all that they want.
It's what they've been left with, isn't it?
It's pretty much like anything better than survival is a bonus. That's all they've got to cling to at the moment, which isn't... It's shocking, isn't it? Because Everton are one of about 7 teams, I think 7 or 8 teams that have never been relegated from the Premier League.
Yeah.
So there's that on the line as well.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think of like how, not say how the mighty have fallen, but they're not mighty in terms of like they've always for how many years. I remember like when it's this kind of where it kind of started their downfall in a way. All those years with Moyes, right? And they kept saying about how like, when are we gonna take that step and become a team that are more than just top 8, and take that next step to get that next level manager, and then it just since then have gradually declined. Like I know there's been a couple of seasons where they started a little bit better off, like ended up being like 2nd or 3rd, but only really for like at a time when the season's definitely not even slightly over.
Bear in mind he's not the only sort of person going in today. Dele Alli's also rumoured to be leaving on a permanent to Everton as well.
I was waiting to see if that had come through, so I heard that he was
currently
there for
going
medicals,
through a medical
wasn't he?
still.
Yeah.
Like the last update I've got here. Hang on a second. 40 minutes ago, from Fabrizio Romano, the most trustworthy of sources. Dele Alli medical with Everton still ongoing. A long one, yes, but no problem. Normal process. I'm told still the same that he's going to join Everton. That deal being a free transfer with, if he plays 20 games, I believe it's 10 million gets passed over.
Okay.
I think it's 20 games for 10 mil, which, considering the lofty heights of when he was valued at 100+ million, I remember those days. Those days when Tottenham were actually okay.
Is that 20 games this season? Can't be. Surely there's not enough. Is there enough games to play 20?
So free transfer.
Yeah.
And then 20. It's 12 million euros, and bonuses for next year's. It could reach 35 to 40 million, but it depends on Dele and the team performance.
Okay.
So if Everton do well and Dele Alli does well, Spurs get paid. Quite simply. So there's interesting stuff, but we'll see what happens there. But moving on to Team of the Week, which is mainly going to be based off of the AFCON situation. What I've got in front of me here is AFCON and also some South American games in here. So FUTBIN's current predictions, obviously based off of previous weeks, we've noticed they get they get the majority right. There's some stragglers like what's his name, Gvardiol, that don't get theirs, but more often than not they're around the mark. So we've got currently in the starting 11 we got El Nassiri get himself an inform, which that's a card that the player of the month last year I did like the look of, and it looks like something that would fit this game and how I play. Although Mers, you might want to back away from it. It does say 62 passing, so not sure it's for you. Not sure it's for you.
Definitely.
We got Toko Akambi, which is normal, decent pace. Although I think he's 3-star, 4-star, something like 3-star, 3-star normally. So that'd be something more I would shy away from. I'd still use it, but it's also looking like it's going to be on the opposite side. It's looking like it's predicted a right mid card. So
yeah, I saw that.
Luis Suarez getting an inform. That's just going to be, let's be honest, that's going to mainly be fodder. But certain people, people that don't care about pace may get a kick out of that. Definitely not me. Sadio Mane man who's had a busy week, a worrying week, both in terms of at the AFCON and in terms of, well, Luis Diaz being brought in. It's going to be an interesting one. So whether he's, you never know, is being replaced short-term / long-term. He did get legitimately knocked out at the African Cup of Nations and told to play on. So, interesting situation there. But he has got himself a rumoured team of the week. We've got Octavio, the Brazilian from Porto. Yep. Talking of Porto wingers. Casemiro, Di Maria. Then we go into, and I'm just going to have to zoom in on this name. Hincapie. He's rumoured to be getting one. I'm going to say, without zooming in on the flag, I'm going to say Ecuadorian.
Yeah,
it looks like Ecuador.
Okay, good. I was torn between that and Venezuela. I'm glad my flag knowledge just possibly brought me through because I've just seen there's a Venezuelan on the other side, so I'm glad I didn't say it. So yeah, he's there, rumoured to be 80-something pace for Bayer Leverkusen. So another Bundesliga centre-back. Give us
strong link to Tapsoba.
Yeah.
Indeed, strong linking to the likes of Tapsoba. We've got something that won't see use apart from very, 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 very niche teams, which is Michele, the Club Bruges Belgian centre-back with 65 pace. An old favourite, though, coming back. A man who, round about this time last year, definitely this time last year, had a headliner's card at right back, and that is James Tavernier.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to be in there.
You don't think that one's going to be in there? Okay.
They didn't win.
That's true.
They drew 3-3. So even
Did he
if
get goals and assists though?
Well, I know Goldston scored.
Yeah.
The centre back. I don't know if he did get goals and assists, but certainly they were, I believe, 2-0 up, and I think that
he
game.
He picked up man of the match in both matches he played this week. Is their reasoning?
So there's another. Yeah.
So that's what they're giving, and obviously with how many limited things are available, that might be enough to just sneak him in. Mm-hmm. And in a completely defunct position, but a man who has had some interesting cards down the years. Also had some very interesting cards for Mexico. Guillermo Ochoa.
Ochoa, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the man whose kicks were absolutely massive, and I think one year had something like 70 to 80 pace, if I recall. I'm gonna say FIFA 16, but I'd have to check that. I swear, one year he ended up having like nutty pace.
Have you seen that kicking on that card?
I see 99 kicking on it. Yes, yeah. I'm not addressing that straight up, but that would be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Guillermo Ochoa possibly, and what's his natural kicking? Yeah, 72 natural kicking. I'd be interested to see what have they said here. But
he scored a goal. Kicked it straight up.
Straight up the pitch.
It's just there because they're feeling dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the reasoning says absolutely nothing. It's like the draw was important for Mexico more than it was for Costa Rica. It's very vague, but other than that, like there's some players we might recognise from previous years. There's now looking like a good championship left back in Anthony Robinson, I should say. The basically the silver player from last year that everyone loved in their Premier League teams is now in championship teams. Apart from that, there's a Burkina Faso goalkeeper, Trezeguet, who's I think just left Aston Villa actually. I could be wrong. I think he's gone elsewhere. Solomon Rondon, Rafa Benitez will be very sad to see that as soon as he's gone, he's found form. No. It may well be for Venezuela, but it's fine.
The Trezeguet one.
Yes.
I mean, this is the thing, right? So they've got. This makes me think there's something. I don't know if they're going to do something else on the horizon, and they're keeping an eye on the AFCON because that game, right? Yes, Trezeguet scored the winner, but Mo Salah scored and set up that goal. Right, so essentially the way that gets them through is Mo Salah scoring his penalty and Trezeguet and setting up Trezeguet's goal. So how does Mo Salah for a goal and assist getting Egypt through on a game where they weren't favourites, not top, the winner? Is it because we're going to be expecting an AFCON winners card or something?
Or he's already in packs and he's it's a penalty goal and an assist for a Salah card. That's not much at this point when he's already got a headline that's more expensive than the card he currently has in packs.
But it's that thing again, though, isn't it? It's that thing of like finding ways to justify not giving someone a card when really all things point towards them.
Like Andre Silva got something for that, but that's because it's Andre Silva. And yes, I'm slamming my own guy here. But sorry, when you expect. But when Messi and Ronaldo have to get their informs, they have to normally do it by getting a whole bunch of goals. Ronaldo didn't get his inform for scoring 2 meh goals against Newcastle. So why should Mo Salah get one for a penalty and assisting someone?
But because
why should that be a thing if 2 goals against Newcastle doesn't
because it has gotten Egypt through to around when they were not even remotely favourites to win that game. That's why.
Should be in a promo that's based around the AFCON then.
Yeah,
like it's not going to be in Team of the Week because of that.
But that's why I wonder
in
if
other
that's
Team
what
of the
they're
Weeks they're
holding
going
off for.
And turning their nose up at other stuff. They're not going to suddenly go, well, Mo Salah needs another special card at the moment.
No.
Oh, you deserve a raise. That gets more money.
See, I can't see an
not
AFCON
exactly how it
promo.
automatically works.
I can't see an AFCON promo, but I wonder if they're going to bring out like a man of the match card for it or something, because or a team of the I don't know, or man of the tournament card or something. Just because it seems weird to one not acknowledge it, but then to ignore that just seems to me like a big thing to ignore us all.
I mean, they've done it in the past with AFCON. I distinctly remember from FIFA 15. Yes, distinctly remember from FIFA 15 in the same sentence. But there was man of the match cards for Swansea. No, not Swansea. Sorry, newly transferred Man City Wilfred Boney, and there was Man City Perfect Link Yaya Toure.
Yeah.
That were in packs at the same time as man of the match cards. I remember packing that Wilfred Boney, looking at it was selling for 200k. Thought I'll play a couple games of it. Look back, 50k.
Yeah.
Look back, 20k. I was like, oh, damn. So I remember that fondly.
I think they've
stuff like that
done
happens.
match, yeah.
It might be for the final though. I could not tell you for sure. But
And that's what I think
card,
is more likely to happen. Final.
Yeah, more likely. I will agree on that. But there's one more notable card before we get into the Burns, the Adakuj. I can't even bother to pronounce it. And that's a man who is linked with Burnley this week, Miroslav Orsic. And it's rumoured to be a striker card.
The guy has insane card every year.
He does. This one's predicting, although they've said 99 kicking on a Choa, so take it with a pinch of salt. 92 pace, 85 shooting. So looks very, very nice.
His team of the season card every year is crazy.
It is. It really is for the rest of the world. But that pretty much concludes anything relevant in the team of the week.
Yeah.
We mainly touched on transfers, so we're just going to transfer over to our Q&A section.
Just before we get to the Q&A section.
Don't.
It's so
I
perfect.
set up a segue for you. He's just literally handed one on the plate and you ignored all of them.
You're turning this down more than Phil Jones does loan moves.
I just want to say about the man of the match cards. Yeah, there's been man of match cards like in every FIFA for AFCON.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
There
Okay.
should be some again, but it's just a question of when. So
God. All that to ruin a perfectly good segue.
well, to that. All right.
I'll segue this. My wife's just delivered me some lemon meringue pie.
Ooh.
Do we have any questions?
Yes, we do have some questions, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem anyone clocked on to the asking them to put a pie question into the Q&A. So I think I'm just going to add that anyway, because I think we need a food-based question. Because going through the Q&A questions, there's not a single food-based question yet again.
It's crazy.
Guys,
It's
what's
crazy.
going on?
Guys, honestly, do
Like,
you not eat?
Yeah, what's happened? What's happened? Like, it was every single week, and now all of a sudden, it's like Christmas is over. Everyone's still probably stuffed
Everyone's
or
full.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still living off of the Christmas dinner. So
family.
obviously last week, briefly said about pies and favourite pies, but we didn't actually go into too much detail. So this week we're gonna say I'm gonna ask, what is your favourite fruit or sweet or savoury based pie, or even both? What's your favourite savoury and what's your favourite sweet pie? Brad?
Can I just clarify this then? So is a fruit pie, is a lemon meringue pie allowed? Because technically it's not really a fruit filled pie when you're thinking of like a apple or cherry or.
I would allow it personally.
You'd allow it?
Will allow it because, to be fair, it is a pie, and there's nothing to say a pie has to be a like closed top or anything like that.
No, my only thing
sometimes
would be
you'll
is
see it in a Plymouth Argyle top.
Yeah, good one. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, the only thing I would say is that the reason I'm asking is because I feel like a pie is something that you could potentially have with both ice cream, if you're a psycho, and custard. And I wouldn't. You wouldn't have lemon meringue pie with.
Oh, there we go.
With,
I'll just put my feet up.
With a custard.
What's wrong with ice cream?
Sounds like there's some murmurs here.
It's a dairy-based product.
It's just me. It's just me personally. Like I don't want the hot and cold. That's all. I want a hot dessert. Or I want a cold dessert. I don't want half and half.
So if I had my
your opinion
cold
on a chocolate fudge brownie
straight from the tin custard, is that a problem as well?
No.
You just said hot and cold.
What are you having it with?
lemon meringue pie.
What, cold?
Well,
all cold?
Well, I mean, you
I
were the
wouldn't
one talking
have
about custard with lemon meringue
custard-
pie.
It's a bit weird if you're having custard with a lemon meringue.
No, I wouldn't have custard with a lemon meringue pie. Yeah.
My general ones, yeah. No, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Me going on the tangent, trying to create drama.
Essentially, it'll be a cherry or a apple pie, right?
I love a cherry pie. Cherry pie is. That's what I mean. If we're talking about what pie am I having with custard, I'm having a cherry pie because it's my favourite.
I don't think I really want custard with my steak pie. That's for sure.
Well, no, yeah, sure. I'll allow
Listen, right? You might be Rachel off of Friends.
Yeah.
With the meat trifle.
And then peas sautéed with. Yeah.
I've seen because I don't know if you guys watch Binging with Babish, but I think Luke does. But Brad, I don't know if you do.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so basically he recreates like dishes from TV, and he did the meat meringue.
The meat trifle.
Sorry, yeah, I was thinking.
He did actually do the meat trifle.
He did the meat trifle. I've watched someone else do the meat trifle as well. I personally watch more sorted food these days than if we're going off of channels that's all. I watch sorted food more than I do binging Babish these days, but I do enjoy both.
Yeah.
I'm more an apple pie kind of guy. That's sort of my take on a
Nothing wrong with that. Traditional.
My savoury one that I have is one my mum makes. She makes really well. She will make a ham, chicken, and sort of leek.
Leek,
yes, get in.
Oh yes.
She'll make something like that, a nice hearty. My brother doesn't like pastry, by the way, so this is always a big problem. He always skips this and makes something like a breaded chicken sandwich or something. Like
what?
Yeah, no, he will just.
I mean,
if he doesn't like what's being served up. If he doesn't like something that's being served up, he'll just chicken, maybe breaded chicken, maybe just chicken fillets, and just make something.
Yeah, but I mean, say if he said like, oh, he's not going to have our homemade chicken, ham, and leek pie. Mm-hmm. Instead, Mum has taken the filling out and made like a stew or casserole with it.
He doesn't like stew and casserole. He's not that kind of guy.
Okay.
He's more I'm feeling chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets and chips.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yep, okay.
He if he doesn't like something, he'll just make that.
Wow.
Just that. Get the sandwich, a big dollop of salad cream, bang.
Wow.
Dip the sandwich in the salad cream. That's his kind of take on things. He's
this lovely home cooked food he's missing out on.
Yep. Oh no, I tell him that. I mean, the thing that I do, I don't even do that. I just ask for something else. Like I'll have something else instead. It's liver. When there's liver, I'm like no.
Oh yeah, no.
That's me. It's a controversial one, but I'm not on the side that likes it. I'm more.
No, me neither. I'm the side that
on the fence.
Well, I'm definitely one of them when it pretty much comes to organs. Then I'm not. No.
Yeah,
it's bacon and liver. I'm like no, I'm not on board. Yeah. Like bacon, yes, just the bacon.
Bacon's
no liver.
fine.
Yeah,
but liver, kidneys, heart.
Haven't had kidneys. Haven't had anything like offal.
No haggis.
Haggis. Yeah. Haven't tried haggis yet. It's something I'm going to try at some point. I am a fan of black pudding though.
Yes.
Oh no,
I'm
can't do that either.
pudding.
I love black pudding.
I can do I only had it once. I've only had it once, and that was in the last 6 months. Like my parents basically told me stay away from that. Don't have it when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, sure, but I'm normally a guy that will, when it comes to food, I'll try something once just to make sure, like, do I like it? If I don't, because I mean, I'm a big fan of like seafood and stuff like that, but they would try to keep me away from that. Yeah, bloody love seafood, but I've still yet to try something like cockles or anything like that. So that's something I need to.
I was the opposite as a kid. Like I was like, oh, I don't like the look of that. I don't like it. Whereas now, as an adult, I'd be more likely to have a try of something. But definitely, like, because as a kid, that was because that was how it was. I never had stuffing because as a kid, I looked at stuffing and went, no, I don't like that. Now I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? Why did I not want stuffing?
I think that's also because of taste buds changing.
Yeah, no, potentially as well.
He looked at it and just went.
I pretty much did just look at it and think, no, it doesn't look nice. That was it. That was all my decision was based on.
But yeah, to take it back though to savoury, what's your savoury taste? As obviously I said mine's the ham.
You nailed mine. Yep.
Same, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if I'm buying one, I'd mainly go for chicken and bacon or a steak and ale or something like that for a savoury pie. Homemade, I'll do chicken, leek. I don't normally put ham in it. I just mainly do chicken and leek pie. I also don't do the sides and the bottom. I just do a puff pastry top for mine when I make it at home.
Yeah, I mean, one of the local pubs to me around here does the best chicken ham and leek pie, and if I go there, it's one of those things where I struggle to order anything else off a menu, because if I had anything else off a menu and I didn't like it as much as that, I'd be disappointed.
I mean, to be fair, another thing I like is not a pie; it's a tart, but there's something like ham, cheese, and broccoli tart's one I like as well. There's one of my mates. That's a proper nice one. But yeah, those are sort of what I'd say are my takeaways on sweet and savoury pies.
I mean, nothing can beat a bit of pie, mash, and beans for me.
Bit what?
Pie, mash, and beans is what he said.
Beans.
Green beans or?
No, baked beans.
Baked beans.
Oh, the callback on the green beans.
Baked beans.
Yes. What?
Oh boy, he's about to explode.
What's wrong with baked beans? You gonna tell me?
Nothing's wrong with baked beans, but like they don't go with a pie.
I'm hiding behind the chair. I'm hiding behind the chair.
What? How do they not go with a pie? A bit of pie, a bit of mash, a bit of baked beans on the fork. Put it in your mouth. Yep. Nom nom nom. Lovely.
Have you ever really had, other than in a nugget form or anything, any scenario where you've had chicken with beans?
Not really, no.
Nope. So you cannot put beans with a chicken ham and leek pie, Mez. The only slight exception I'll allow it is on a steak and ale. But
I didn't even say chicken ham and leek pie. I said a chicken bacon pie.
Well, even so, beans and chicken, in terms of like chicken breast, they do not go.
What?
They don't go.
So you can have chicken nuggets and beans, but you can't have a chicken pie with beans?
Because it's different. It's just different.
Nah, you can have
the sauce that you have with a chicken pie, that's a chicken and ham pie, is a creamy sauce. It's not... It doesn't go with beans.
It does. It does go with beans. It definitely does go with beans.
Okay, so if you could have your choice of your way to accompany your favourite savoury pie is mash and beans.
Yes.
Okay. Luke?
Is it safe? Is it safe to come out yet?
It's safe to come out yet.
Okay, it's off the floor yet.
So with the chicken ham and leek pie, what are you having to accompany?
I think just seasonal veg really. I don't go too adventurous.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like, sort of like I think normally we have like the mix of peas and sweet corn, maybe some carrots.
Yeah, bit of spring green or cabbage or something.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not on the regular. I'll say that.
No, I'm not the biggest fan of cabbage, but I don't mind it with a pie because the sauce in that does kind of help for me. I think for me cabbage is a bit bland, but
I have cabbage with like some pork meatballs. I think with like that's where I think we normally serve cabbage with like pork meatballs with like I can't remember what the sauce is, but like Swedish meatballs.
Oh, nice. Nice. We do have meatballs quite often in this household. Yeah, so I would probably say if I'm not having like a chips and peas, you know, as a traditional pie, chips and peas, then I'm going, yeah, mash and some nice like greeny veg. I like you know, yeah, probably peas, spring green, broccoli, and yeah, maybe some carrots. But
Are you going as far as gravy with that?
so I am a little bit funny with this because like it's if I'm having the chicken ham and leek one, then I kind of wouldn't. I'd just if I could get given more of the sauce that is in that pie, that's what I would want.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take a gravy and overpower the flavour of the sauce. And that doesn't, you know, that's not with just using it. That's using even a chicken gravy, because chicken gravies aren't the same as, you know, the creamy sort of white wine kind of sauce that comes with a chicken pie. But if I'm having a steak and ale, then I'd have some extra beef gravy probably with it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm certainly nowhere near it as beans.
Baked beans, lovely stuff. Bit.
Not anywhere near.
Need the extra sauce,
Nope.
you know, from that baked beans to go with the mashed potato.
Oh, God, you are.
Am I gonna have to brace again?
Yeah, okay.
I'm ready.
What's the next
if need
question?
be.
GH has asked if you could put one European team in the Premier League, so for example, move PSG to the Prem, what team would you pick and why? So a lot of the time there is all this sort of talk like if you moved like Bayern Munich into the Premier
Let's talk about
League
the Super
or something
League, weren't
like
they? Not that long ago.
Yeah.
So you know,
like how competitive could they be if you dragged them into like the Premier League? Because they say
is that what we want to talk about and not be look at it as an aspect of, well, you know, I'd really like Norwich to stay up this year, so I'd put in like someone from the lowest Argentinian
You're
third
allowed
division.
to do that. You're fully open to drag someone like a Spezia in if you want to.
Yeah.
It
Well, no,
says
it'd be even worse than that.
European team. It said European.
It says
Yeah.
European.
Oh, yeah. So
it
I'd be going far worse than that. I'd be like Segunda League 3 in Spain, like whoever's bottom of that league.
I will add in Dorking Wanderers as our local
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mers will take Forest Green Rovers.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's not necessarily a team for me. It's like players. Like, obviously, at the moment, it is going to be PSG, because why would I not want to see Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar in the Premier League? Like,
because you want Tottenham to have a slim chance of winning trophies.
but you know, that's what I mean. Like, I want to see players more than I necessarily want to see teams play. So yeah, I think he said the team, or you said the team. I want to see what those guys can do in the Premier League, because I think I've said it for a long time, and again, I hate to cause up another. I don't hate it, I love it, but I don't like want to cause another like debate or anything in that. But I still, like, in my opinion, feel like Ronaldo outweighs the greatest player in the world conversation for me, only because he's played at a really high level in the best league in the world, and despite I know that like Messi's had like all the accolades and all the achievements that far outweigh Ronaldo, which says he's the best player in the world, for me, the one thing that would certify it is just coming to the Prem and doing just a couple of seasons of madness. That's all I want to see, just to solidify that like, for me, that would then be, there wouldn't be a conversation. If he came to the Premier League and just tore it up for 2 seasons, there wouldn't be a conversation anymore. It's answered. But for now, I think that's the reason there's a conversation, because Ronaldo tore up the Premier League when he was here. Not so much now, but then that's because not only is he a lot older, but also Man United are absolutely trash right now.
And I will just raise the counterpoint to saying Messi should go over there. If you remember, Messi's only 1 year younger than Ronaldo. He's 35?
Yeah,
something like that. So
I would love it. But I don't think it would ever happen. I think if it was going to have happened, it would have happened when he moved to PSG.
correct.
Because that was the time. Yeah, moved to City and done it. Instead, I think he moved to PSG in view to think that he maybe will go back to Barcelona, and I've heard a few things like around the globe about his like wife and family not being happy in France and stuff. So I think it will eventually be back to Barcelona when he can afford. Well, I mean, he probably can afford it now, but to not have to have such expensive wages. But it won't be right now. He'll see out his career there. We know that much, but
technically speaking, I think he could afford to do it right now because you got to think.
I mean, he could, but
the sponsorship deals would easily pay.
Well, I think it's less on his part. Obviously, PSG would not let him go. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's the fact that there would still be some wages to cover. He's not going to just play for free just to prove all the haters wrong.
No, exactly. And money does run out.
In my opinion, he is the world's best.
Yeah.
He is better than Ronaldo in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
The stuff you see him do with the ball, you can't see anyone else really do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, and I would never. So I can't disagree with you, but I just think that for me, the reason I view that is just because I have seen at first hand what that guy is like in the Premier League, and it's just, and there'd be some people that will controversially say they don't think the Premier League's the best league in the world, but I disagree. I think that considering that, on any given day, any team at the bottom of the Premier League pretty much can go out and beat a top team.
Yeah.
That to me says, that we've got the best league in the world.
Levante dominated Real Madrid for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the odd occasion though with those leagues, whereas I think the Prem is more competitive as a whole, near the top of the table, near where everyone has that competitiveness. There's never always a guarantee. Week in, week out. Man City obviously is a bit of
to the point on that with how Chelsea were in the relegation zone under Jose Mourinho. With how Everton are currently on the brink.
Yes.
Yeah.
In January.
And this is this is why that phrase about the cold rainy night in Stoke. This is where that come from, because it's just a different everything. It's not just a different league. It's a different style of defenders. We know that if Messi comes to the Premier League, he will spend most of the time on his ass. It's because he will get put on his ass by big defenders and defenders that won't take, any of his rubbish. I say rubbish, but it's skillful play, and that's what I mean.
Yeah, I'll say it's
covering. But essentially, that is what will happen. But it does mean, of course, he'll then draw in more fouls. He'll get a lot more fouls. He'll probably score a lot of free kicks, and that's the reason I yes, this is why I want to see it happen. I want us please, just one season, just come and if you're now if your family aren't happy at PSG now and you're still not able to go back to Barca, just come to Man City. I know people don't want you to go to Man City, but please just come one season. Bring Aguero back as well, so the guy actually gets to play with his idol.
The man's tired.
I know, and I've got no doubt that's what tipped him over the edge.
To then counterpoint, I mean, there's many. Firstly, why would the family want to leave sunny France if they're not happy to go to rainy Manchester? Which, by the way, I am going to rainy Manchester probably in the next couple of weeks, but that's about that. But then you've got the fact that Messi has scored an outrageous number of goals against Premier League teams, home and away, in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
against a variety of Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, United, City. I'm sure he scored plenty against all of them. So
yeah. I'm not saying that's what I mean. I'm not setting up a debate.
If you want him to arrive in a new league just to then pop up and go, we've seen how you can do against the big six, but I want to see you play Burnley.
Yeah.
Come on now, that's not the games you're going to realistically be watching of Messi.
But also, don't forget though, we're talking Champions League there. And look at what Ronaldo's done for Man United in the Champions League this season. Mm-hmm. But look what he's done day in, day out in the Premier League. Nothing in comparison. Some people do come alive for the competition.
Well, and also it's the play style as well. Champions League teams are a bit more
different,
open, whereas your Burnleys are going to sit back and just defend. Not necessarily trying to give Messi the room to do his fine dribbling around players. Obviously, he'll probably still do it, but obviously once you pissed off that embarrassed that Burnley defender, he's probably going to go, right, that's it. I'm going to go fucking two-footed.
I'm going through you.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, at that point, surely someone in either La Liga or Ligue 1 would have done that at some point already. Surely. There's gonna be hotheads. He's come up against Pepe and Marcelo and the likes, and Sergio Ramos.
Oh yeah, and Ramos.
All at Real Madrid.
I've got no doubt that's where a lot of Ramos red cards would have come from. Of him.
Yeah. So the aggression in that back line for Real Madrid from probably 2010 through 15 would have just kicked at him constantly. Yeah. There's a reason why Ramos has the most red cards in La Liga.
Yeah.
Like, he's already faced people that will kick the hell out of him, and they've got a lot more skill than Burnley. So why does he need to come just to get lumps kicked out of him by Burnley, who might not even be in the league at this point? So then, who's the whipping stick at that point? Who's the Burnley / Stoke equivalent in the Premier League once they're gone? Any takers? Who's the next most harsh team? Leeds? Don't think so.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
Diego Llorente, Villa, Luka Dean, Palace with Anderson, Mitchell, who's the Chelsea loanee, and then I can't remember the right back either, which is terrible from me. They're not exactly as much of a physical team as they used to be. They're being reinvented under Vieira. There's not really many of these tough British teams left in the Premier League.
So putting on our idea of wanting to get Messi in the Premier League.
I'm just trying to make it realistic that it's not going to be as physical and as painful as you make it out to be, with Burnley most likely getting relegated.
Well, Weghorst is going to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
He may well do, but apart from... Right, so looking at teams in the Premier League, who's going to rough him up? West Ham. West Ham will rough him up.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, West Ham,
That's the one. Van Dijk at Liverpool. Oh, wait, he can do that in the Champions League.
No. No, it wouldn't be a Liverpool. It wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't be Van Dijk. I'm trying
Maybe
to.
Chelsea.
I'm trying to
he's played Thiago Silva many a time.
No, it wouldn't be a top. I wouldn't say a top 6 team. It has to be like one of the normally like.
It's not going to be Brighton.
Half maybe. I'm trying to. It could also be Brighton, someone who's going to get promoted. It's not going to be
Leicester. Like maybe Wolves. Wolves might be it.
Yeah,
Newcastle probably going down, or they're changing. So Newcastle maybe, but they're going to get actual good centre backs instead.
Yeah, they're changing their style.
Watford are probably going down. Norwich, let's be honest, space of lack of investment and the investment at the bottom, they could be going down. It's
Brentford.
There's not many teams that will be the cold.
Brentford maybe.
Maybe Brentford. Like we've got 2, maybe. And one of them's a current top 6 team, but that's just how West Ham play.
Yeah.
So there's not really this aura of cold, rainy night in Stoke anymore. Let's get that myth out of here.
All right, so Messi was signed for someone in the Championship.
I mean, going back to the original question, 2 teams I would personally like to say is mainly because of their transfer policy normally. Which is Bayern and Juventus, and obviously most of their transfer policy is buying up talent from the rest of the teams in the league, obviously to stop them from being as competitive. So I would wonder how that would work in the Prem for like those 2 particular teams, because obviously the top 6 would be like, yeah, we're not going to necessarily sell to you unless obviously you cough up the cash, because obviously you just got to look at like Tottenham in the summer to Man City, for instance, with Kane, obviously. But then, obviously, that's just Levy as a whole, isn't it? He would. He always holds out. So I'd wonder how they would handle their transfer policies if they were in the Prem to try and be competitive, because they could buy up the talent for the smaller teams, but obviously that doesn't necessarily make them as competitive. Like, would they still be able to be? No, would they be able to win the league if they were in the Prem? I mean, based off of Juventus.
I think so.
They put up a fight. Juventus less so much, but
yeah.
I think Bayern will probably
Juventus' transfer policy is less like obviously Vlahovic is the recent turn up for the books, like him and Ronaldo, but they're mainly free transfers. That's new. That's their transfer policies.
Yeah.
They get a whole bunch of people either dead cheap, Zakaria. Weston McKennie came in fairly cheap, I think, from Schalke. Free transfer with Rabiot, free transfer with Ramsey, free transfer with a couple of others that don't spring to mind yet. Like, they're more shrewd, barring Vlahovic, which that might pay off for them. They're in a sort of desperate situation. They want to get into top 4, which shouldn't be a thing they're saying as Juventus, but
Chiesa as well.
They're more the free.
What was
Chiesa as well? Yeah, that was a loan that was then being made permanent from Fiorentina. I'm gonna say it was where he was before.
Yeah, he was.
But for what I've got here, my one is also based on transfer policy. I thought you were going to say this when you said one of them. You said Bayern Munich. I've got BVB. I've got Dortmund as the one I'd be interested to see. With how many shrewd, interesting signings they've got, whether the promoting of the youth, etc., i.e. Bellingham, Sancho developing there. They've got exciting prospects. You've seen Marco Reus, who's been consistent for many years. They've got a good mixture of players that I think that would be an interesting one to see where they'd slot in, whether they'd be fighting for top 4, whether they'd be there or thereabouts.
I think they'd be up in that top 6.
They would be, because their style of play as well.
You'd think.
Because their style of play reminds me of like Arsenal under Wenger, where it was all about like all-out attack and just trying to outscore the opposition essentially. Yeah. It's all about attack. So it would be. They would have a very nice style of football. It would be a very like games that you'd see in this country. I think they would fit very well in the Premier League. Personally, a bit of Dortmund. I'd love to have that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's
and competitive, like you say. Yeah,
it's semi-competitive. They don't just walk it. They could contend.
Yeah.
They've proven they can hang nearby on someone like a Bayern. They've not won it since Klopp left, etc. But they were favourites, I think, at certain points in the last couple of seasons. They were ahead and they fell off. But it'd be interesting. Obviously, transfer policy still would be, I think, just as effective of picking up people on the cheap, and then developing them into great players.
Yeah.
I think Dortmund would be probably an ideal one.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. I think that's going to be it for the Q&A this week, because we're getting on with the recording. So we obviously, if you want to submit your questions, please feel free to join the Discord. Link is in the description down below, so feel free to click on it and that should bring you into the Discord. If it doesn't work, please feel free to come onto Twitter or something like that and DM either the FSB account or one of us three, like directly, so that obviously we can get that sorted out, because obviously we would like to, because we love the community, you know. Doing this is part of enjoying the community that we're building and having you guys interact with us and stuff. So obviously please feel free to join our Discord so you could submit your questions and stuff, and obviously try and get some food-based questions in, guys. Right, we had baked beans this week. Baked beans and pie.
You might have. I didn't.
Actually, controversy. I did that tonight. You know, gotta have the controversy.
I haven't had them in a while.
But yeah, that's it for this week's episode. But obviously, we thank you, Brad and Luke, for being on this week's episode.
Always a pleasure.
Monday.
Never a trouble.
And we will see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Peace out, guys.